Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today we continue spooky season on Friday the 13th. And what better way to celebrate Friday the 13th and spooky season than by ranking all of the Friday the 13th movies? So pop that tape in, I got you. Let's go do this. However you want to chant it. We are going to rank these movies. Now, I'm sure you've seen a lot of rankings of these movies, but you have not seen my rankings. And we are going to rank these films today. And of course, this is the great set. It's an absolute great set. But now we're getting some more of these on 4K, and that's pretty exciting. So it is time to rank them. It is time to have fun on Friday the 13th. I bet all these movies are on TNT or AMC somewhere today, showing on TV if you don't have them. So I'm going to talk about these. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. A lot of you guys, if you're watching this channel, you know the Friday the 13th movies, the Jason series, but you don't know how I feel about them. And I promise you, it's probably going to surprise some people how I feel about these movies. And we're just going to start at the bottom here. This one's my least favorite. I don't know. It feels like I remember seeing it the first time and thinking, wait, that's not what I was expecting. And I am talking about Jason Takes Manhattan. I don't really feel like I wanted to see him the whole movie like in Times Square or the streets of man, like killing people and getting people coming out of old theaters, like all kinds of stuff like that. I wanted to see that. They cop out on it. It ends up being like a lot on a boat, so that they don't have to spend the money to film in the city and things like that. So it's a little bit of a cop out. One of my favorite parts though is where the boxer guy, the guy like has enough. He has the enough of this shit moment and turns to fight Jason, and that leads to a pretty good kill. And you got to give the guy props. And I've heard people say that's not realistic. It actually probably is realistic. Eventually, you're going to run up on somebody that says, I've had enough. I'm not running. Enough of this shit. And turns around and fights. And I talked to my buddy Chance about this. We both want to see in a movie, kind of like when Jared Padalecki fights Jason. Like, it's a real fight. Like, otherwise, he has to be 100% supernatural, because there's always somebody that can whoop your ass. I don't care how badass you are. There's always a bigger fish. But I want to see somebody like in one of these situations actually get the upper hand and be winning the fight. But that's the part I remember in this. It's not one that I rewatch as much as others, and it comes in at the bottom of the list at 12. All right, next up on the list, this is, I think some people enjoy this one a lot better than I do, but it's Jason X. You get regular Jason, you get Terminator, Uber Jason, you got Kane Hodder in here, and I've got to meet him a couple times. Bill introduced me to him, and nice guy. And I do like his portrayal of Jason. It's just, this thing aged very poorly with the CGI they put on it. The plot, the story kind of drags in this one a little bit to me. And I don't know, it just seems like such a cheesy, it seems like a cheese dick plot. I mean, you take Jason and you put him in space, and like people want to consider this canon, but not like the remake, but the remake not be canon. I don't know about that. Why not? I don't know. I don't know. I was about to say, why don't I like it more? Why don't I like it more? But it comes in down here towards the bottom of the list for me. Still fun. I mean, look, I like all of these movies. It's just that there's a few of them I'm not going to choose to rewatch as much as others, and Jason X is down there at the bottom. Now, the next one is A New Beginning. And I'm just not. Look, it's a Jason copycat. Like, I don't know. Like, aesthetically, I guess you could say you still have a killer. But it just. Someone is slashing people just like killer Jason Voorhees. But I'm not like I don't really remember how this was marketed, but I like when you just market a Friday the 13th movie, I think that suffers a little bit from the same problem as Halloween 3 when you're going to market a Friday the 13th movie, but then like Jason's not really the guy in it. It's not really Jason. I feel like that's a problem, and I don't know. It has like some good comedy moments. Like I'm sitting here trying to think about it, and who doesn't remember this? Didn't this guy here like he went on to like be a director or something like that? I think oddly enough, but I don't know. It's like all these. I feel bad like ranking anything low and talking bad about it because as a franchise, I don't know. It's just like quintessential '80s slasher, sex, kills, nudity, like all of that stuff that we think of like Jason movies are, Friday the 13th movies are. But I just can't make myself put this one up higher. I feel like this one's a little sleazy, maybe, or something, but it's going to come in down here at what, 12, 10, 12, 11 at number 10. All right, coming up next is part 3, 3D. The problem here is I actually enjoy this, and I just watched this again. Like I think I watched all of these except for, I'm gonna be honest, Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason X. I did not watch before I did this or rewatch. I've seen them plenty of times, but I actually enjoyed this more when I watched it recently. I wish there was a way like you still watch it in 3D, because when you have like all the 3D things, like stuff coming at the camera, like the poles sticking out at the camera and all that stuff, and you're not watching in 3D, it just kind of I don't know, it's kind of distracting, and you just remember that it's like a shtick almost, or a what do you want to call it, a gimmick, and it kind of sticks out. But I mean, there are some really good kills in this movie, and I don't know. I mean, I had a lot more fun watching it again the other day than I normally remember. But to me, it just the 3D. If you could have a proper way to watch it in 3D, still, I think it would be higher. But I do love the artwork, and I have I bought, what is it, a book nook thing. It's like a 3D version of this where he's sticking out, and when I get my room cleaned up, I'll show you guys. But still fun, and I enjoyed watching it the other day. All right, now from here on out, we're probably getting into the ones that I rewatch the most, and a lot of people are going to probably give me shit for this next one, but I do have fun with this one, and it's Jason Goes to Hell. I enjoy this. A lot of people are like, this has no place in this franchise. Like as a kid, I remember, just waiting on Freddy's glove. That's what you heard about. You were waiting on Freddy's glove to reach up and get the hockey mask and pull him down. But I don't see the problem. I guess I just don't have the same problem with this that a lot of people do. I enjoy that. Like there's that scene. I don't know. I have fun with it. There's good characters in this. And the opening sequence, it kind of spoofs at itself a little bit, but it is an awesome opening sequence with like the whole like sting operation with the FBI. Totally. I think that's cool. The one thing that makes me laugh every time though is that must be the towel knot from hell on that woman, because She runs, sprints all over the place, jumps out a window, falls, flips over, does all this stuff. And the little towel scrunchie where she wrapped the towel around herself, just that towel never lets go, man. It never lets go. And trust me, especially as a kid, I was waiting on that bastard to let go. But it never lets go. But I don't know. This movie's fun to me. It's just fun. Like, I have no problem rewatching this one a lot. Give me crap if you want to. But I think it's fun. And it comes in here at what? Number 12, 10, 9, 8, number 7. All right. Coming in at number 6 on the list is A New Blood. I know it's getting a lot of reflections up here. This is Jason versus Carrie. And I know that's how everybody describes it, but that's because that's what it is. They're trying to capitalize on that stuff. I mean, honestly, I could interchange these two probably. And I had a hard time with my rankings. If you saw my rankings, you see scribbled out as I went back and forth with myself here. You know, the actress that plays Tina, she has this telekinetic ability and all that kind of stuff, but like the faces that she makes and then they move the stuff. I mean, I like the concept. The movie is good, and you know, that's what they're trying to do is Jason versus Carrie there, but it just comes down at the end to you know, she accidentally unchains him, and then now she's got to fight him. And I mean, I don't know. I almost want to switch these, but I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. But I give this a nod because of going for it with basically the Jason versus Carrie concept. That was a little bit different. I mean, yes, you took two things that existed already and kind of sandwiched them together, but it was fun. And I mean, you do root. It's like I was talking about earlier. Jason met somebody who could fight back on him, and that's probably what gives me the edge over Jason Goes to Hell. He met somebody that could fight back, although they blow his ass up in Jason Goes to Hell. So I kind of like, because to me, it's realistic that you know, somebody's gonna fight you back at some point, and I don't know, I have fun with it. Those are interchangeable, but like I said, from Jason Goes to Hell up, I get a lot of rewatch out of all of these. All right, we are back to our list now, totally miscounted, and you can see here like I have all this like crossed out and rewritten because I kept arguing with myself and it made me make a typo in here. So we are coming in now at 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7 at number 6 with Jason Lives. My list lives again. Jason lives again. The opening sequence of this I love. They go to dig up Jason. I mean, they're just going for it. Tommy is going to dig up Jason. You've got the blue lightning. It brings Jason back to life. I mean, this one has a shitload of rewatchability. So, you know, it's like, dude, you go there because he's being tormented by his memories of Jason. So what do? You go and bring him back to life by accident. Like, this is just totally batshit crazy. But this one has a lot of fun and rewatchability to me. I really do enjoy watching this one. You know, I always think that first few minutes of this movie is just like, perfect cheese dick Jason Friday the 13th fun. You got your lightning, your 80s type blue lightning coming down. What do you want? They bring Jason back. That heartbeat starts happening, and it's fun. There's plenty of fun to be had, and Jason lives, kill or be killed. Comes in here on my list at 6. Now we are in our top 5, and coming in at number 5 is the original Friday the 13th. And whoa, stop the presses. Yes, is it that low? Yes, it is that low. Friday the 13th part 1. There is no Jason, which is fine, but I mean, this is iconic. What it did, it blew the doors off of Halloween. They took what they were trying to copy what Halloween did, and then they stumbled on making something all its own and set up a whole other kind of camp horror movie slasher genre. It's iconic. The cast: Kevin Bacon with the kill, the arrow coming through his throat. The twist with Mrs. Voorhees as the killer. Jason's mom is the killer. So there is no Jason to start with until the very end when the boy comes up, when, deformed Jason comes up out of the water. It's iconic in so many ways, but honestly, it does drag in some points. And I mean, I don't know. It's hard to rank this low, but I mean, I think it's a testament to the franchise that the first one, the iconic one, because it's definitely got to be like the most iconic, right? But the most like the iconic, the precedent setter, all of that stuff comes in at number 5 on my list. That there's still 4 movies that I consider better than that is insane, because this is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I feel like you could put several of these. If I was making a list of 50, you'd have 4 or 5 Friday the 13th movies on my horror movie list. So Friday the 13th, the original, the icon, comes in at number 5. All right, coming in at number 4, going right back to it, is Part 2. Part 2 is essentially the same movie as Part 1. It just now has Sackhead Jason in it, and nothing wrong with that. Sackhead Jason, points for Sackhead Jason and his like overalls and everything else. I think he becomes more of an icon when he gets the mask and all that kind of stuff. And but ultimately, like this, I always think of the kid in the wheelchair in this one for some reason, because I always think that's sad. What happens to him? But this one is, like I said, to me, I feel like it's the same movie, except for now Jason is doing the killing, and it's like, what you people? The one thing about all this is like, hey man, there's all these places there could be a camp, but let's keep going to this one where people keep getting their asses killed. But it is a good movie. I like it a little bit better than the first one, just because now you actually have Jason doing the killing, and you have, I feel like, a little bit more action into this. And Friday the 13th Part 2 got a 4K coming in my Paramount Scares box. So I'll make sure I talk to you guys about that one when I get it. But it comes in at number 4. So we got 3 left, and you guys are thinking, wait, he's already done Part 1. He's already done Part 2. Where is he going with this shit? Well, Part 3, I'm going, look, this is completely fan service. Maybe this is the 80s kid in me getting to see this. I don't give a shit. I'm going with with Freddy vs. Jason for ranking here at number 3 on my list. This is like the equivalent of getting to see like Rambo fight the Terminator, like for a kid my age that grew up then. Like this is icon versus icon. Like to get to see this in a movie. Now I think it works better. I think it's more of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Otherwise, I could have it even higher. I could at least one place higher. I could have it even higher. But just the, Freddy going into Jason's dreams and seeing what Jason dreams about. And I don't know, man. I mean, I really like this movie. It's got maybe a little bit of, of cheese, but I think it's just fun. And to get to live that out, to see what happens if Freddy and Jason square off against each other. As a kid my age that saw Nightmare on Elm Street when it came out, Friday the 13th, I was really little, so when it came out, so I didn't see it at a theater or anything. But to see these two go against each other, you call it fan service if you want to. Tell me I'm just living off nostalgia on it or whatever. It makes my top 3. I can watch and rewatch and watch and rewatch because it's fucking Freddy versus Jason, man. And you gotta watch it. I love it. It comes in part 3, or it comes in at number 3 here on my list. Now, if you're keeping track at home, there's 2 films left, and you know what they are. The last 2 films on my list are The Final Chapter and Friday the 13th, 2009. And this was hard for me, and people, I like, as much crap as I'm going to catch for Freddy versus Jason probably being at number 3, I'm probably going to catch way more grief because coming in at number 2 for me is The Final Chapter. I love this one. I love Corey Feldman in here. It is he's a young Tommy Jarvis in this. I don't think this has any reversible artwork, does it? Nope, no reversible art. Well, yeah, it does. It's got the original. But you've got, I always, it's got Corey Feldman in it, and that's cool. But I always thought, the fact that they basically made Corey Feldman a young Tom Savini who wanted to be like he was all into horror movies. He was into horror makeup. He was, doing the masks and all that kind of stuff. And just totally into kind of the same stuff a lot of us are into, right? Movies, horror movies, collectibles, and, making movies, all that kind of stuff. And the way he shaves his head at the end and messes with Jason in order for them to beat him, I don't know. This one has a ton of rewatchability. Of course, it involves cinema and theater and movies and makeup and all that. You got Corey in there. Crispin Glover is in this movie. I've aged myself before mentioning the fact that the Doublemint twins are in this movie. If you don't know who the Doublemint twins are, go and Google it. They're the twins that are in this movie, but they did much more than this movie. It's a hell of a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy the climax of the movie. A whole build up. There's a lot of awesome kills in there when they're watching like the stag film and the projector goes. This is a fun movie and a lot of good kills and a good cast and a fun cast that you kind of root for some of them. They're not all just douche canoes. But this one it was hard to put this one at 2, but you know what that means. If this one is 2, you might have seen it coming if you follow me on this channel. Friday the 13th, 2009. It's my number 1 Friday the 13th film. Come at me. I mean, I can take it. This film has everything that you could ever ask for from a Friday the 13th movie. I don't understand the hate it gets. It's more of a sequel than a remake because they do reference the story of the first 2 movies in this movie. So it can't really be a remake. It is more of a continuation, a sequel. And that kind of maybe forgoes the other movies after part 2. It's almost a direct sequel to part 2. So I don't know. I like this movie. I said it before. The first 15 minutes that are before the credits is maybe the most perfect Friday the 13th movie on its own that was ever made. Going out there, the cinematography of it, them going out there camping, all that kind of stuff. Like I've said before, you've got, you see, boobs a couple times. You see a sex scene. You see 6 people get killed. You see Jason. You see all this stuff before the opening credits of the movie. But the whole cinematography in this, Derek Mears, the way he moves is scary. I've said before, it was like reminiscent. Seeing Jason run for me was reminiscent of when I saw Snyder's Dawn of the Dead and you saw those zombies run and be like aggressive and fast for the first time. It kicked it up a whole other notch. This definitely did that too. A whole lot of fun. Jared Padalecki is a great leading man. I'm a big fan of Supernatural, but that has nothing to do with the fact that he's really well cast in this. I've said before, it makes for a good fight at the end because he is a big dude too, and Derek Mears is a big dude. My one gripe on this movie has always been this came at a time when they were trying to explain away all supernatural stuff with Michael Myers, with, everything they wanted to explain away, explain away, explain away. Um, and they did that with Jason with the underground tunnels and the bell and wire and string system and all the stuff he's got set up everywhere. But at the end, they kind of back out and cop out on that because he ends up being supernatural anyway and comes back from the dead. Um, so I can kind of forgive it. It was just a product of that time, but it's shot beautifully. Maybe a little overlit, if there's such a thing, because you can run through the woods in that movie in the pitch black dark without needing a flashlight because they lit it so well. But just the cinematography of it, there's some awesome kills in this. There's great like characters. Like I've said before, Travis Van Winkle makes me want to punch him in the head. He's such a D-bag, but that means he did a great job. The one unfulfilled blue balls thing in this is I wanted to see Jared Padalecki kick his ass in this movie, but he gets his comeuppance bad enough. I've told the story. I'm partial to this because Derek Mears was really nice to me when I was at one of my first horror conventions as a guest and selling my movies and signing them, and he came and bought my movies, and then he came back the next day and said that he had already bought them before, one of them before, Realm of Souls, before he ever met me, but he wouldn't let me give him the money back. And instead he had me sign it. Just a super guy. So that connects me to the movie even more. I think it has everything. It pays homage in every single way to every 80s slasher horror trope, every Jason movie, Friday the 13th film in this franchise. I think it has everything you want and more. I think it sucks that we haven't gotten a direct sequel to this. Putting it out there, it would be great to see that happen. But I'm just thrilled to have this 4K of it. It's a hell of a movie, and I think it's the best of the entire franchise. And I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot of comments about that. But that is my Friday the 13th rankings here on this Friday the 13th during spooky season. I cannot think of a better way to celebrate Friday the 13th and spooky season than ranking the Friday the 13th movies. We do all kinds of rankings here and lists and physical media news and 4K reviews from a fan and filmmaker's perspective. As always, if that's the kind of stuff that you're interested in, talking about all these movies, collectibles, nostalgia, all that, then please like, subscribe, and ring that bell and spread the word. It really does help out the channel. If you want to support the channel, a couple dollars here and there, you can join down below at my Patreon or right here on YouTube. It really does help me out. You get all kinds of behind the scenes looks at stuff, my filmmaking, special member videos, get your name in lights here, of course, as part of the pop culture friends, family, or even be a pop culture icon. But you don't have to do any of that to hang around and help me out. Just like and subscribe and spread the word. I really do appreciate it. I am wishing you all a spooky, creepy Friday the 13th. Get out there and enjoy it. Or actually, just stay home and watch Friday the 13th. Until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.